Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Dr. Barkis Ophthalmology Tutorials. Today we will discuss about ptosis surgeries. So remaining things about the ptosis I have discussed in my previous video, like the pathogenesis, the types, how to evaluate a ptosis case, all those I have discussed in my previous video. I have left the link in the description box. Please go through that before going to the ptosis surgeries. Okay, so without much delay, let's begin our ptosis surgery video. So coming to the indications of ptosis surgery, first one is obvious, that is patient wants it for the cosmetic purpose. And the second one is the visual problems, which is more commonly seen in the pediatric age group. If the ptosis is covering the pupillary area, even though patient or the patient attenders are not willing for the surgery, we have to counsel them because it is going to lead to dense amblyopia, which is irreversible. So that is the most important indication, I believe, rather than the cosmetic reason. So what are the contraindications? If there is risk of exposure keratitis like poor Bell's phenomena, dry eye symptoms, decreased corneal sensations, they become relative contraindications for the ptosis surgery. And also if there are local infections of the skin around the eyelid, then also it becomes a contraindication. Then you have to treat the skin infections, then take up the patient for surgery. So the choice of procedure, what you want to do, which surgery you want to do, depends upon the type of ptosis, whether it's a congenital ptosis, acquired, whether it's myogenic. So it depends upon the type of ptosis, the amount of ptosis, that is whether there is mild ptosis, moderate ptosis or severe ptosis. And the most important thing is the LPS function, whether the patient is having very good LPS function, moderate or very poor LPS function. And the fourth one is the presence or absence of the lid crease, because this will determine to some extent which approach you want to do. If there is no lid crease, then you may have to do the transcutaneous approach when you are planning for LPS resection. Otherwise, you may have to combine lid crease formation with other ptosis surgery. So all these factors determine the choice of procedure you want to do. So how you determine which procedure to go about? So that depends upon, the main factor is the LPS function. If it is more than 10 millimeters, when you do the LPS function test and you see that there is more than 10 millimeter of excursion of the eyelid, then you quantify the amount of ptosis here. If it is very mild, that is less than 2 millimeters of ptosis is there with very good LPS function, then the choice of surgery is Fascinella Servate operation. If there is good LPS function of more than 10 millimeter and the ptosis is more, that is more than 2 millimeters, then the reason could be the aponeurosis ptosis. Then you will have to go for aponeurosis surgery, that is refixation of the LPS aponeurosis to the tarsal plate. Suppose the LPS function is more than 4 millimeter but less than 10 millimeter, then the choice of surgery will be LPS resection or LPS plication. If the LPS function is worse, that is less than 4 millimeter and there is severe ptosis, then you will have to go for frontalis sling. So this chart tells you which surgery is apt for which patient. So coming to the next procedure, that is Fascinella Servate procedure, also called as tarsoconjunctivomullarectomy. This is indicated when there is very mild ptosis of 2 millimeter with very good LPS function. So how much you want to do, how much tarsoconjunctival mullarectomy you want to do, that depends upon the amount of ptosis. If there is 1 millimeter of ptosis, just do 2 millimeters of tarsoconjunctival mullarectomy. So the indications are any mild ptosis secondary to neurogenic cause or the myogenic cause, even the residual ptosis following other procedures for the ptosis is an indication for Fascinella Servate procedure. Coming to the procedure, it is done under local anesthesia. Give the block subconjunctivally above the tarsal plate, or even you can give the lid block transcutaneously. Okay. The procedure is, first you avert the eyelid. So this is the averted part of the eyelid, that is the palpebral conjunctiva, what you are seeing here. Okay. So after that, after averting the eyelid, this is the superior part of the tarsal plate. Okay. Since it is averted, it has come down, but it is the superior part of the tarsal plate. Then you put 3 traction sutures here and measure the amount of resection you want to do. Then use 2 artery forceps to crush the tissues, or you can use RF artery to mark and cut this part of the tarsal plate along with the conjunctiva and the Muller's muscle. Then go on doing the continuous sutures which will approximate the conjunctiva to the tarsal plate. So for continuous suturing, you can use 60 Prolene or 60 catgut. So this will correct your 2 mm of ptosis. That is about Fastenal Servite procedure. So next, coming to LPS resection, we have two approaches for this LPS resection. The conjunctival approach is called as Blaskowitz procedure and the skin approach is called as Averbuch procedure. So I will be discussing about the skin approach. So coming to the procedure of LPS resection, first we have to give skin incision, and the place of the skin incision usually corresponds to the place of the lid crease where you want it to be after operation. Okay, so after giving the skin incision, the orbicularis oculi muscle which is below the skin is also separated. Then the superior border of the tarsal plate is identified. Orbital septum is incised to expose the pre-aponeurotic fat as well as the LPS aponeurosis. Then avert the eyelid and give subconjunctival infiltration to separate the LPS from the conjunctiva. Then the LPS is separated out. Okay, and if needed, you can cut the medial and the lateral horns of the LPS, and then 3 cardinal sutures are passed from the tarsal plate to the desired amount of the LPS tissue. Okay, so so much of LPS is resected out. The excess part is cut and then the skin suture is put. So this is about the LPS resection. So coming to the next procedure, that is tarsofrontalis sling. It is indicated whenever there is bilateral moderate to severe ptosis with very poor LPS function. Even it has to be done in unilateral cases when the ptosis is associated with Marcus-Gunn jaw winking phenomena. So before giving local anesthesia, mark the points where you want to infiltrate. Okay, ask the patient to close the eyelids, and the green areas which is shown in this picture are the markings. Okay, the first two are just above the eyelash 3 to 4 mm away, and they are 8 mm apart. Okay, so they are 8 mm apart and 3 to 4 mm from the lid margin. Then the next two incisions are corresponding to the medial canthus and the lateral canthus, corresponding to the medial canthus and the lateral canthus. And the fifth one is 10 to 12 mm above the eyebrows in the center of the eyebrows. Okay, so these are the 5 incisions where you have to proceed with the surgery. So just infiltrate 1 cc of your lignocaine along all these areas which are marked. After that, give stab incision which is passing through the skin and little bit of orbicularis oculi, and the superior incision will be little deeper. After doing this procedure, this purple colored thing is the suture material which is passed. Okay, so needle is passed from this incision, comes here, taken out, and again it is passed below the skin, comes and it is taken out here, again below the skin, below the orbicularis oculi muscle, and then it comes here. Okay, again it is going below the orbicularis oculi muscle. So finally what you are seeing is just 2 ends of the suture here. Rest everything is below the orbicularis oculi muscle. So after that, you just pass this 2 ends of the suture in a sleeve which is given along with the suture material only, and then tie the knot. When you are tying, just look for the appropriate position of the eyelid. After you confirm the lid position, just tie the knot and then cut the ends and bury this knot below the pocket which is created below the skin. Okay, so this is about tarsofrontalis sling surgery. So 2 important points which should be remembered here is when you want to do tarsofrontalis sling in case of congenital ptosis associated with Marcus-Gunn jaw winking phenomena. Their first procedure is complete disinsertion of LPS from the tarsal plate followed by this sling surgery. And the second point is when you are doing this for the unilateral cases. When this procedure is done for unilateral cases, there are more chances of widening of the eyelid in the down case. Okay, so that may become a cosmetic problem when the other eye is totally normal. In that case, you will have to do bilateral tarsofrontalis sling surgery. So this is about tarsofrontalis sling, or also called as Fox pentagon procedure. Next, coming to the complications, these are usually under correction, over correction, or abnormal lid contour, and even there can be dry eye symptoms, and patient can have lack of thalamus, and there are chances of recurrence of the ptosis. So just remember there are three main surgeries. Okay, it is little difficult for the undergraduates to remember the names. The first name we should remember is fascicular surgery. Then the LPS resection. In that you have two approaches: conjunctival approach and the cutaneous approach. And the third one is the torsofrontalis limb surgery. Okay. So hope this video was useful. If you find this useful, please do subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for the further notification. Thank you so much.